I think that seniors are probably better at using AI because they question more. They only use it as a filter. They're not reliant on it. Too many people will use AI and then think, oh, it's
Welcome to Pivoting to Web3 podcast, where experts break down AI, blockchain, and tech shaping our future. I'm Donna, and today's guest has insights you won't want to miss. Let's dive in.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Pivoting to Web3 podcast. And today we have Lucia Dore. And Lucia is an award-winning financial and investigative journalist. And let me tell you, she knows what she's talking about. And a documentary filmmaker. She's written a book, Seniority and AI Technology. She has the background and she knows the area. So we could talk a little bit more about what we don't hear about. We don't hear about seniors, trust, fear, adapting and behavior to what's happening today in technology and those that are senior. So, Lucia, hello. Say hello to your audience and ours.
Hello, thank you for having me. Thank you, Donna.
Well, nice to have you here. I really am excited about this conversation because I, being a senior myself, don't hear the conversations that I think really matter, and I'm not sure why. Can you give some insight on that at least? Why is it that everyone feels like it's only for the young folks? It's only for other people. It's not for the seniors. What is it we need to look at and how can we change why it matters?
I think that there isn't enough discussion with older people. It's assumed that they don't know that they're out of touch with technology. But I think it needs to change. Simply, it needs to be instigated by the seniors, because younger people who are in charge of the news, they're not going to. Simply, they're not interested. They think everybody over 40 doesn't know what they're talking about. I
That's really
think that,
true to a point.
yeah, I think that, I mean, a lot of the older people have been involved in technology, but they're just not up to speed with the latest information.
Do you
And
think
that's
there's some patterns in frequency in technology? Like for myself, I see patterns in implementations, technology from electronic ticketing and the different advancements today. You still have some of the same issues, just a different way depending on the technology. Do you think that is also something that we could embrace as seniors
I
to
think so.
get more comfortable?
I think that people need to feel that they really do know what's going on and things are not as advanced as what people like to think. I mean, I have a friend who thinks that AI and technology is more behind than it was, that things take longer as things have become more focused on technology. In a way, it's a problem for companies because more banks rely on it, more restaurants, everybody relies on technology. And how long are you sitting on a telephone waiting for responses? And it's all AI. There are not many people around. And when you get a person, you're often really surprised. I mean, this morning, I have been trying to deal with content providers, websites and things. And I've been waiting more than half an hour to speak to somebody. I get chat boxes, but that's no good for me. I need a real person. And it just doesn't happen.
No, it's not happening as quickly as we'd like. And those that do enter into the chat box and GPT, some companies get it right, but a lot of companies are really getting it wrong. So when you look at the senior market and what you were talking about in seniority, let's go back and look at that piece where you talk about the living arrangements and how that can have an impact. How, with today's technology and advancements, could it be more beneficial than what we're using? Could you cite some use
Well, I
cases or
think
give us some information or some insight on that whole piece there with the living arrangements?
I think, I mean, you keep living the fact that people live on their own, and they can make more use of technology in terms of preparing food and kitchens, all the rest of it, even heating. Even when they leave, they might be able to implement locking or something. They might be able to turn on lights while they're away. They need to be able to do things like that. And I
So you're
think that,
talking about like a smart home, with the lights, the
yeah,
alarm system,
and I
the
think that
medication.
happens. Yes, but I think that happens anyway. I think the technology is there and people can implement it. They just don't know how.
So how could we break down some of those barriers in not knowing how? I mean, I've thought about that as well. If I wasn't
Well,
back in the
I'm
day in
not sure.
tech,
Hmm.
how how could we, or what's missing? What's missing in society
I
that
think that there's not enough conversations between the youth and the older people. And there is an assumption that if you're over, say, 50, that
Mhm.
you don't know anything about technology. They simply wipe you. So therefore you can't get jobs, you can't get all sorts. There's a huge assumption about that. A big problem. And I think that I think there needs to be that. And also in the media, seniors needs to be discussed more. It's not just young people who embrace technology. The older people would if they knew what to do, but they are never told what to do, and they have to go to these groups, and often the people teaching them don't really know that much either. And the younger people don't know as much as they think either. So you've got this big gap, you know. I
I agree with you. I really do, because nobody really taught me. I had to teach myself. Didn't nobody tell me. I had to go look for it. So I'm really smiling at the fact that it's not just me, because everybody know I'm a senior.
I think that's it. I think that people have to find out for themselves. Like my father, who died at nearly 87, he was quite good at technology. He would, if people had have taught him, he would have just embraced it all and got very into it. Whereas my mother wouldn't. She wasn't at all interested. She thought, oh, we'll deal with the old fashioned. But if she had been told what benefits, how it would benefit her about technology, she might have embraced it more.
So it sounds like we need to make a shift.
I
Is
think
that what is that what's happening? There needs to be a shift in media. There needs to be a shift in education, in culture, in caring. Are
and
we
in
back to about the caring?
workplaces, well, I mean, I think the workplace comes into it too, because people assume after 50 that they can't be employed because they are too,
Old.
what? Yeah, they don't know
Should I
enough
say it
about,
because we're too
yeah,
old?
yeah. They don't know enough about technology. So therefore, that it's not embraced, but in fact, it could be of real benefit to everybody.
I think it could be a benefit because everybody that's senior has wisdom. They've got life experience. They've got knowledge. They've got know-how. They've been there, done that in a lot of areas. And I think with the technology we have today, it makes us brighter or enhances who we are. Would you think if more seniors knew that aspect of the technology, it might make it more comfortable? How do we change all of this?
I think people as seniors will understand technology when it comes to healthcare, because that's where it's used the most. And it has
In what
been a real
in what
benefit.
way?
Well, I think it's been, lots of things that they can target for seniors. I mean, the fact that the scanners have improved, the information that they get, it's all AI ultimately, and they can benefit from that. Technology has probably facilitated that, but they're not taught how. They're not shown. They only know, and if it can benefit them, then they might look at other things. But at the moment, there's a lot of fear around the fact that, I don't know whether it's living arrangements or something, they're concerned about it. And they're concerned about social media as well. They
Mm-hmm.
find it all too intrusive.
So when you say healthcare, and there's a lot of advancements for a senior, what are the main findings that you saw that would be very impactful and have a positive quality or a positive impact on their quality of life as a senior? What were your findings in that healthcare area that you said healthcare is really where it's at?
Well, I think that things that, like the heart, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I think now people can have their hearts tested and they can do all sorts of things, operations that they couldn't do before, or it's much shorter. So therefore, seniors react to that and they learn more. They learn that AI is benefiting them in that sense. Um, so you've got the heart, the cardio, you've got the things like limbs. I mean, there might be some people with artificial limbs, but artificial limbs, and they might be younger too, have got much better. They can do. So I think in a way, if people start knowing how healthcare is benefiting them, they will branch into other things. Perhaps they will learn more.
That's true. So with the healthcare, the monitoring and social engagement and some of the activities of daily living, beyond the smart home, where else do you think seniors and AI and technology kind of converge together? Would it be in when they're alone or in
Maybe,
connection?
yeah, maybe connection. I think it's intersecting now in social media, but seniors don't want to engage with social media. But if they did, they might find it liberating in some expect to some extent. Education is another one. They could do more online courses. And there is a move towards more online and the use of AI for teaching and for marking, etc., that the seniors might be able to take, of which seniors could take advantage. I think areas like that, education, I would say education and, well, healthcare and social media. But I think that there is a fear with social media, and obviously a lack of trust. But we have to make sure that we don't become too reliant on social media.
So yeah, because yeah, I'm a little nervous about social media and got to use it
Or
every day. So
AI, yeah, AI and social media. I mean, I teach online, and it may be that even students are saying they might become too too reliant upon AI. For teaching, for writing essays and things. So, and I was speaking to somebody the other day about social media, and they were saying how difficult it is. Definitely, AI has reduced people's literary skills. They can't write the same. The
mm.
best writers don't have to use AI, but they become too reliant on it, particularly students, younger people. I think older people don't, and maybe it benefits them by not being too reliant on AI, but they can really benefit from technology.
So this is another conversation that sounds similar to one I was listening to. And it seems like it depends on how you use AI.
Oh,
If you
definitely.
go in, yeah, if you go in asking a question, get the answer and don't do any thinking with it, and then you prompt, get an answer and run with it without any thinking with it, that's a problem. But if you prompt, get a response, query, and have some questions or start using your critical thinking and ask it another follow-up question or really frame your prompt, then it does help with your thinking, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, I think in the long run, if people will engage if they know a lot more about.
Because it sounds like those that just take it as it is, ask it a question and then run with it, therein lies the problem of just using AI for a response and then running with it without any critical thinking, any analysis, any questioning, any positioning, posturing, or anything.
Well, it has been shown, I think, that seniors are probably better at using AI because they question more. They only use it as a filter. They're not reliant on it. Too many people will use AI and then think, oh, it's all good, everything, and may not be right. The information may not be right. I've often been given things from people, they said, oh, AI says this and that, but AI isn't necessarily correct.
Yeah, because you have to let it know that you don't want any hallucinations. You want all facts. And if you do that, but a lot of people don't know to do that too. And
And
sometimes
they
it
don't
doesn't work.
know what the facts are. They don't know what
It's
is
true.
correct and what is not.
But if you're seasoned and a senior and you've lived life,
Yeah, but then you might know. And therefore, you're
so
going to be less reliant on AI, but you want to interact on social media. You want to use
so what
technology.
would you like to see happen that you don't see happening right now? What would you like to,
I
what do
think there
you
has,
think should be going on that we're not seeing?
I think there
Sorry.
needs to be more of a conversation between the young and the old. I think
And
that,
how
and
does that get started?
well, yeah, this is it. I think seniors have to feel that they are not incompetent, because at the moment they do. They feel then too they're not competent enough with technology.
So what do we do to change that? How do we make it happen?
I suppose,
How do we start a movement? What do we do?
I think it has to be a worldwide movement. I think people across countries, I just have to start and talk to people, and maybe the only way is nowadays, dare I say it, is through social media, is developing a group and then having more people join, and then from all over, maybe that's the way to go.
That's a good conversation for us to have.
Mm. But maybe
I
it is
think
something like that.
I think we should be doing more, seniors. I think we have the background, the experience, and the wisdom,
Hmm.
and maybe the additional conversation that comes from that would be a benefit worldwide.
Oh, I think it needs to be worldwide, in the sense that I think there are a lot of people in developing countries that probably embrace technology and they don't know they're embracing it because they're using smartphones and things, all the time.
And then you have some areas that are, how can I put it, in different populations that are benefiting from decentralization and Web3 that are embracing the AI that you wouldn't expect. And I think all the populations could learn from each other. But wouldn't it be fabulous if the seniors started taking control a little bit of what's going on and
Absolutely. Yeah.
utilizing the skill sets, their life experiences and education, or just the cultural benefits of living 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years and enhancing that to improve the quality of life. So, what scares you right now with what you're seeing in the advancement? You got the assistants, the LLM models that came out. Then you hear about agent AI or AI agents, and then you get into agentic. What's making you nervous about
I
AI?
think nervous. I think there's too much information and too much reliance on AI by too many people. And I think seniors are scared because they have to rely on it too, and they don't want to, and that's okay. They don't have to. I think that there is a understanding, if you like, about how much you have to rely on AI. Seniors don't want to. Probably younger people rely on it too much. And somehow we need to get a balance there.
So, how do we get a balance? What do we try to do?
I think that there has to be a movement of seniors who are interested in technology, seniors in technology, and then sort of discuss these things about what can happen. And maybe an education module or something like that would also help, that other people younger people can take part in. You know, that they might want to learn about technology in seniors because in advance of their aging. But maybe there is something like that.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't have a lot of young people around me. So I guess I'm just a natural learner. But for those that have grandchildren and family, I would encourage that they do start communicating and
Well, it's
showing
been
their loved ones.
that in terms of learning, that older people learn better with the family than they do going to a formal classroom or something like that.
So don't you think a formal classroom or some type of education online, wouldn't that be helpful?
Online, yes,
Oh, okay.
but not necessarily in a classroom.
Oh, no, nobody's going to a classroom.
I think online is
I
better.
do everything online. I'm not
And
going nowhere.
and they will learn online, and they talk to the look to the grandchildren or whatever. But nobody wants to go to a classroom.
No, nobody's going there. I'm not going there. This is as good as it gets for me.
People
So,
want to. Why
so
would they?
yeah, really. So then let me ask you this. So with the healthcare, you've got a lot of wearables out there today. I think that's pretty beneficial from the AI side and technology beyond the LLM models and everything else. You've got a lot of monitoring systems and, like you said, the cardiac and cardiology and things that they're changing there. Do you see those advancements in their wearables and everything beneficial? Do seniors know about them, that it can make life a lot easier, or their caregivers? Do you see any use in that? What were your findings there, maybe?
Well, I think that they're in terms of clothing. I mean, there's real advantage. Seniors can buy without going into a shop if they choose. They can test drive everything sort of on a computer if they are taught how to do it. And they don't need to go into a shop. They could test everything online. That would be beneficial for them because then they don't have to worry about getting going to a shop and trying on everything. But if you're like me, you do it anyway. That's part of what you do. But
So you had someone working with you. Are there any revisions to seniority, or what can you share about it? Where are you with your project?
no, what I think now that 18 months on, I think there's a lot that should be updated because AI has moved on a lot since then.
What would you
The
like to?
basic, but the basic issues of fear and trust and not understanding technology are always there and will always be there.
So what do we do with the fear? How do we help somebody with what do we do with the fear? Or how do we help seniors not to be so fearful of it all? What do you think needs to take place?
I think seniors need, as we were discussing, need to be educated both by their grandchildren and online. And they have to also feel as though they are valued, they are important members of society. And at the moment, they're not.
That's true.
You know, a lot of them feel very marginalized. There's little communication. And that's a problem.
There's not a lot of conversation about it either on news stations,
Well, in
talk
New Zealand,
shows.
I can say that there's none. And I think part of it is because, for the most part, seniors are not part of the workforce.
So once you retire or unable to get employment for whatever reason, even though they may not say it's because of your experience and background and years of service wherever you've worked previously, a lot of times you know that's true. So unless you really have a learning personality where you're a constant learner or want to continue learning, even if it's just to stop the aging of the brain, you really are kind of left wherever you are. You're right, because unless I came out of retirement, I wouldn't be in the mix right now.
Exactly.
That's really
Oh, I don't know, but there needs to be more conversation with seniors about what they can do. And how we do that, we'll have to think about.
so what about governance and like you're in New Zealand and being here in the United States, it seems like it's still the wild, wild west. Whatever goes or whatever happens, happens. Do you see any governance that you like to see differently or what
No,
did
I
you find
mean,
when you were writing your book and everything with the governance piece? Is
well,
anybody looking at this?
no, I think you could say New Zealand is slightly more unusual in that there is a ministry for seniors, for government. And there isn't in a lot of places. So at governmental level and with organizations, they are discussing the issue.
What is it you want to share that we haven't talked about with what you're doing? Because you do so many exciting things. What have I missed?
Well, my mind is on other things at the moment, hacking websites and things. How technology, I think body language has changed too. Technology changes body language and the way you walk and the way you do things. And that needs to be discussed too. I think people forget about the body language aspect of technology.
What have you noticed?
Well, I think, as you were pointing out, sitting when you're sitting online and how you speak, how you look at cameras. Um, that's one aspect, but also imagining you are strong and don't have fear, so that may impact the way you walk and talk. You might be more powerful, so that enables you to deal with technology better.
Really? So it's something intrinsic.
Mm, yeah, to
You
an
either have it or
extent.
you already have it or you don't already.
Well, you have the ability to feel stronger, to feel good about it.
So okay, so AI and technology is empowering for some.
Yes.
And with it being empowering, they may carry themselves differently
Mm-hmm.
with more confidence.
Yeah, with more confidence, so to carry, yeah.
That's interesting. I never thought about AI or technology like that before.
Mm.
So, what do you do normally besides this working with seniors in AI? Tell us a little bit about who Lucia Dore
One
is.
aspect. I'm also got an education course, Learn Business English. And we are looking at that, and I want to develop journalism, etc., how that impacts seniors.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. How could someone reach out to you and talk to you or get to know you, or if they
Well,
want to
it's
pursue this?
easiest to just contact me on email, lucia.claire.dore@gmail.com.
Are you on LinkedIn? Can they reach you
I'm
there?
on LinkedIn as well, and LinkedIn and Facebook, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Anyway,
also Instagram, and all the
social media.
yeah,
And any
all the
websites or anything that you prefer, or you prefer your
um
email or LinkedIn?
the other email you could use is it's just my consultancy, lucia@luciadore.com.
Before we close, I'm curious to know, what do you recommend people do going forward or to prepare for the future? What insight do you
I
want to
think
share?
I think they just need to be aware of what new technology is around, and how they can embrace it and make the most of it without relying on it too much. That's all I think that can be done.
And I just don't want to leave it alone, because I know you've done a lot of work with We Are Tech Women, Mr. and Mrs. 50 Plus, and just the Wellbeing magazine has mentioned you. You've been so many places and spaces. What, if anything, should a young person think about in regards to seniors going forward for the future? They've listened to the show, and they're listening to your insight and communication and having a conversation. How do they start the conversation? If we have someone listening right now, what do you recommend to them to do and how to approach it?
Um, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't have an answer to that at all. I mean, I think that um, it all just comes down to having more conversations.
And let them figure it out for themselves.
Yeah,
Or they'll probably ask AI.
and what yeah, what suits them. What suits them.
Yeah, and the
And
relationship.
I think some people take on technology and feel they should be doing more, but that may not suit them. They can have it more or less. Technology is an enabler. It shouldn't be there because you have to embrace it. It should
Or
just help you.
I think some would probably put it in AI and say, I want to talk to my aunt about this, and I'm not sure how to go about it. She's this, and I'm that. What do you think? That might work.
It might,
But
yeah.
as long as they just start the conversation, we'll be in the win-win column.
Exactly.
Lucia, I really appreciate you checking in the Pivoting to Web3 podcast and coming back on, because you were on before and everybody just loved you. So I had to have you again. So is there anything that I left
Thank
out that you'd
you.
like to share?
No, thank you very much, Donna. And we'll have to have a conversation going forward about seniors.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Okay.
everybody, for visiting Pivoting to Web3 podcast, and we're shaping tomorrow together.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Pivoting to Web3 podcast. If you're a developer, innovator, or AI expert with insights to share, or if you're looking to partner, let's connect. Visit MitchellUniversalNetwork.com and be part of the conversation. Want more content? Check out my playlist for more episodes. See you next time.